According to Earl Nightingale, all successful people do these two things. One, they decide on what they want. They are clear, they know it, and thus they can go for it. And because they have the clarity of vision for what it is that they want, they can commit. They can go all in. And that's the second thing. They have persistence. So think about where you're coming from. Think about how you are approaching the goals and the things that you say you want. Have you gotten clear? Do you know specifically? Or are you still saying really vague? He was talking about this image of a genie granting people wishes. And he goes, the sad thing is, most people, even if they had a genie, even if they had the opportunity to say, here you are, ask away, tell me what it is you want, people would be like, well, gee, I don't even know what to wish for. That is phenomenal because honestly, I've been in that spot. I've been where I'm like, okay, I'm learning these basics of manifestation. I'm learning how to be clear. I'm learning how to ask for what it is that I want. And then my brain gets in my way and I'm like, wait, what is it that I want? What am I going to ask for? Which one should I start with? And wait, no, I really want this more than, and I get all jacked up trying to figure out what it is that I want. And then I just don't do anything. And that like just paralyzes you. And I'm just putting it out there because I want you, one, to know that you're not alone. And two, that we can acknowledge what the success factor is in order for you to go and get what you want. You've got to be clear. So let's talk about this a little bit more. Let's break this down because you are moving into a fresh start. It doesn't matter if you're listening to this at the start of the year and it's a brand new year. It can be a brand new day. It can be a brand new hour moment right there before you. So whenever you're catching this message, just say, okay, I'm giving myself a fresh start. What is it that I want and how can I get clear about it? Because a lot of times we say really broad things. We say really abstract things that don't specify, don't get us attached, and don't get us under a conviction that, yes, now I am working on this and I'm moving down this path to go and get this thing. Like people saying, you want more money? Well, here's $1. Like, and they're being sarcastic, but that's a lot of times how we approach things in life. And remember, in one of my very first jobs, I got the raise that I was asking for. But because of how it broke out, allocated over the course of the year, it was ridiculous. I got a 10-cent per hour raise. Okay. And no, this wasn't in like 1905 when 10 cents might have made a difference. This was in the early 2000s. And 10 cents, like you couldn't even see and acknowledge the difference overall in my paycheck for, every other week. So you got to get clear. And I've been noticing this. I've been noticing areas where I either one, do not say what it is that I want. I never get clear. And so I stay super vague and I don't want to attach to it. One example for me is I keep saying I want a new house. Right now we're staying in a beach rental and it has concrete floors and there's flooring on top, but I'm just saying because they're made of concrete, they are solid. And so I don't hear the kids running up and down the hall in the same way that I hear them in our older home that has wood floors and a crawl space underneath. And I hear thump, 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 thump. And I hate that. And so I'm like, okay, I know that this is time. I have been agitated and annoyed enough by having to hear them and be like, be quiet, be quiet. And sometimes they're not even running. Sometimes it's honestly, they just walk like monsters. And it makes so much noise because of our flooring. But here, I have not been agitated one time with how anybody is walking or running in this house. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting more and more motivated to make a move in my life. But now I've got to say where I want to move. What do I want this house to be like? All these things. And that becomes hard for me because there are a lot of different options. And there's a lot of, well, if I move here, I can have this, but it would be less expensive. You see me? And then I'm like squirmy. Is that a word? I get really squirmy about making my decision. And I'm like in that example where the genie would come, okay, ask for it and I'll give it to you. And I'm like, I don't know which one that I want. So I'm addressing this because one of the things that is really going to hurt you with trying to manifest and trying to create new results for yourself is that you can't say what it is that you want. But I'm starting to articulate and I'm starting to be clear and I'm starting to attach that. And the emotion is sinking in. And then I'm working on moving towards that. So all of these factors come into play when you're manifesting. And so just think about the genie example and think about if somebody came and said, okay, I will grant you these wishes, but you are hesitating to say, okay, what would I actually ask for? What matters the most to me? How can I do this? Like if there's those questions about how can I ask for this? How can I open myself up to this? Am I ready for this? You're not. So think about that. If you had the opportunity to ask for something, what would you ask for? And if there's that hesitation, you're not fully invested in whatever it is. And I know the difference. And think about it for yourself. Think to times when you were so clear about what it is that you wanted that you could just say it. You could say it without any reservation because there's nothing holding you back. And you were like, this is coming to me and I know it. And one of the things that I always think about is I think back to when I said I wanted to go away to university, what that looked like for me. And I knew I was going someplace warm. Didn't have the state picked out yet at that time, but I was always saying, I'm moving far away. I'm getting out of this town. I'm getting out of this state. And I'm going someplace where it's warm. I'm going someplace where there's blue skies all the time. Like I want to live in a beautiful, warm place and I want to go in the South. And I knew some other factors of like how I wanted to feel in this space. But besides that, I was really open to it. And I was even really open about what type of university, what size of university, what all these different things. These other factors didn't matter to me as much as my core idea. I want to get out of this state and I want to be someplace warm and blue skies. Like blue skies mattered a lot to me because where I grew up were like months of gray, dismal skies. So think about the things that you really want, and it should just come so clearly to you. So I was always able to articulate that. But when it came to years later, picking out a vehicle, I didn't have any attachment. Like seriously, I just, cars have never really been a big thing for me. And my first vehicle, my parents picked out. I had no say in it. It was just a surprise. And it was fine. I didn't have feelings one way or another about it. I mean, I was grateful to have a vehicle. I'm grateful to pack my bags and move 8 hours away to home to go to that university. But after that, my next vehicle, my parents also bought me. And it was like, I was like, okay, sure. My mom going, well, do you like the color? Do you? And it's like, it doesn't even matter to me. Like, it's an upgrade from what I had and I'm comfortable in it. So I'm down. Like, let's buy it. And that's just kind of how I've always been because I just don't really get super excited. And my kid is like, are you going to get a new car now? Like he sees all these new cars driving around. He's like, I want this. Oh, and I want that. Because he is driven by stuff like that. And that means something to him. And I'm like, my car's great. Like it works. It does its thing. And you kids are awfully messy. I think I would be a nervous wreck like driving around a brand new car with lush white interiors. Because that is one thing I do say. I want next car. I want the white interior. But I have a puppy. I have three boys. I just like to throw my stuff in there anyhow. And I'm like, no, I know I don't want a new car right now. So there's things that you can say, and maybe that's a good place to start, is you start to say the things that you don't want and you knock some things off the list. And then you can see what else is left and maybe start to pick from there. But the point is, the people who are successful, the people who are moving forward, the people who are making a difference, they know where they're going because they have picked that destination. They have made that decision. And so you've got to make the decision if you're going to manifest. If you're going to create new results for yourself, you've got to pick that decision. And this is one of the first things that I start off my new book with is how do you make that decision? How do you decide if you want to become better? What does better mean? You've got to quantify that and clarify it. So you got to know by which measure you are assessing what better is, because what better is for you is different than what better is for me. We're different people. We have different objective views of this. And our perspective and our paradigm that we're living under is going to be very different. Just put a stake in the ground. Tell that genie, this is what I want. And if you're having any hesitation about using up one of your three wishes on that thing, you really don't want it. Like if I had the opportunity back when I was 16 to tell a genie what I wanted, yeah, picking and going away to college would have been on that list of three. Today, picking a new car. No, I'm not using one of my 3 wishes on buying a new car. You see what I mean? Like these factors come into play for what it is that you're deciding. So put it in that perspective. If it's not one of the 3 that you're willing to give up one of your 3 key wishes from this magical genie, you're not ready for it. You either are not ready for it or you just don't care. It's just not that high on your priority list. Go with what is a strong priority for you. If that helps you to pick and narrow down what it is that you're striving for, go with that top priority. Go with what one of 3 things in the whole entire world that you could ask for would be on that list. Put that on your list and go after that because there's some kind of an emotional connection for you. There's something that's a driving force for you. And that's going to help you to manifest that moving forward. Okay. And we will talk about that more coming up in future videos. If you pick up my new book, you can also start to journal about that. I've got some questions and prompts throughout the book. It's really focused on just giving you the prompts and ideas to get your mind focused, get you thinking about what it's going to take for you to be better so you can have whatever you want. Well, better, once again, we've got to qualify that. And that is what the book is going to help you to do by answering it for yourself. So I give you those journal prompts intentionally because I want you to start taking action. I want you to start moving forward. So go try that. Put it into action for yourself. Get clear about what you want because this success factor can be in play for you. You can be just as successful as the most successful people when you clarify what it is that you want and you don't give up. You stay persistent and you're committed because you are willing to give up one of those 3 magical wishes because this is something that matters to you.